Hello again, my dudes, this is Kadima, welcome back to the channel, and I bring you another Elden Ring DLC build video. This time we're going to be using Dry Leaf Footwork. This weapon has seen a massive boost to the poise damage that it does with a recent patch, and this now makes it very reliable for both PvP and PvE, as you are about to see in the examples that follow. Now, this weapon has an attribute scaling of A when infused with heavy, which I suggest you do. We are using the Dry Leaf Whirlwind Ash of War. Attributes required is 8 strength, 8 dexterity, pretty straightforward weapon. It's got a nice R2 moveset, and that's where most of the poise damage will come from. I recommend you try using running R2s or jumping R2s. They are incredible and they combine very well with the Dry Leaf Whirlwind straight after it. It's not a true combo, but 9 times out of 10 your opponents will dodge around you and you will catch them with the Dry Leaf Whirlwind. For the armor, I suggest you use Verdigris set for both helmet, armored chest piece and the gauntlets. For the legs, however, I do strongly recommend that you use the Divine Bird Warrior Greaves. This thing, if you read the description, increases the force generated by kicks, so this is a must-have for Dane's footwork. Talismans: Shard of Alexander, Shattered Stone Talisman, Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, and Millicent's Prosthesis. These two are very easy to proc and have to both effects stack up because the weapon itself does a lot of hits in quick succession, so it's quite easy to get the benefits from it. The Exalted Flesh is the one thing to go for PvP. For PvE, I suggest you keep the Exalted Flesh. You use a little bit of uplifting aromatic, but most of all, the Flask of Wondrous Physic should have Lean and Hard Tear, which temporarily boosts poise, and Thorny Crag Tear, which temporarily boosts successive attack power. And of course, take the Mimic with you, because this guy is just going to spam Ashes of War, and you both together spamming Ashes of War is just an HP melter for bosses. Stats: we are level 151, Vigor at 60, Mind at 12, Endurance at 40, Strength at 80, Dexterity is at 18 simply because of Millicent's Prosthesis, but it has been untouched. Intelligence, Faith, and Arcane, again, untouched. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind, as I said, the R2s do a lot of poise damage, and that's where you want to focus most of your attacks. The jumping R2s do the same thing, and the running R2s is the same thing. One thing to look is the running R2s into the Dry Leaf Whirlwind. This does a tremendous amount of poise damage and a tremendous amount of damage as well, and it's a good way to combining the weapon to do big bursts of damage both in PvE and PvP. But enough said, let's go for those examples. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would appreciate you doing so. It helps us a long way. But enough talking, let's go on to the Black Knight PvE example. Gotta get that everything buff going and then finish with a flask for the maximum effect. And as you can see, I'm just gonna start dishing out damage. I actually missed that first running attack quite terribly, but take a look at the amount of damage and poise damage that both me and the Mimic do just by spamming kicks onto this guy's face. It's absolutely crazy. Same thing with the Chief Blood Fiend. Unfortunately, this guy is just annoying because the Mimic doesn't start tanking him straight away, so I can do my stuff and get buffed up for the best results. I actually got hit several times here. My dodging was just absurdly poor. Doesn't really matter. Get that HP back. I actually did last much long with the aromatic because I got interrupted, and then I got fed up of being slapped across the face, so I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. And that's it. Just melted his HP just like that. GG. Now let's talk about PvP, and I want you to take notice how quick this fight is going to be. Just consume the Exalted Flesh. This guy comes with a nice setup with the axe and the katana, and jumping R2, Dry Leaf, and that's it. GG. Next one, we're going to have a little bit more of a fight here because this guy did more than just attacked without thinking. So we're going to go with the jumping R2, nice little bit of damage, and then the Dry Leaf combo. Didn't connect the rest of the hits, but we're going to go for the finish. I actually got hit here, which is not a problem because he's doing his spell. It can easily be interrupted. And then I tried to finish him off with a dry leaf. It didn't connect, but then I just did a jumping R2 to finish him off. Now, this one, it's going to be a bit of a long one. This guy managed to resist for quite a while. He's got a great axe, and I don't want to trade hits with that because he's going to hyper armor through my kicks. As you saw, he managed to interrupt me right there, and I couldn't do anything. But he just hyper armor through my hits. Even though I got increased poise damage now, it still can't go through hyper armor moves. He tried to do the combo with the storm there, nearly got me. I'm pretty much dead, but so is he. Whoever hits the other first is probably gonna take the win. Lucky for me, it was me with the jumping R2. GG, brother. Now another good fight. This is not such a long one. I let my opponents buff, of course. Then we're ready to fight. Jumping R2, it actually missed the track badly. But I do manage to recover, go around, try to bait him into attacking me. Jumping R2, running R2 actually, and then the dry leaf. And then another running R2, and I finish him off with the trades. GG. Now this one is going to be a funny one. Of course, I let my opponents buff. I fought this guy a couple of times. At first he was coming with a bit of a troll build. Got that twin blade infused with holy damage. Lucky for me, I am happy to trade. Running R2, dry leaf didn't combo. Another running R2, and then the dry leaf did manage to combo, and it did about 1000 damage, so that's actually quite nice. Here we go. Try to outspace him, outmaneuver him. Didn't roll catch, but then I did manage to do an R1 for the win. This is again the same guy, but with a little bit of a different armor now. We kind of did help him last a bit longer, but he goes with the tornado, which I still think is crap, despite the buff. I tried to get a little bit of rot going, which I managed. Jumping R2, didn't connect. And then a simple R2, which also did not connect. And then I waited for him to stand up to try to get the R2s to hit, but it didn't go so well. But then again, running R2, dry leaf combo, and I get the win. GG. Now this guy, it's going to be a funny one because of course he's got all the ranged attacks, which I do not have, so I have to be a little bit patient. I can just jump in there. Of course, if he's using spells, I'm going to try my pots. He actually manages to get me here with teleport to a gravitational missile, which was well played. Here, I'm not going to fall for it twice. Again, just outspacing him. He went to chug, so that's the perfect time to punish him with a running R2, and then another running R2 for the dry leaf combo for the finish. Now this guy, Riley Up, I played quite a few times against him. He was the one guy that managed to last the longest against this build. I'm not sure if there's a connection problem, but I just felt like some of the hits should have hit, like this one should have connected. His recovery just seemed odd. But again, we can't complain. Latency works both ways. Sometimes I'm laggy, sometimes people are laggy. It's just, it is what it is. Unfortunately, because of such things, sometimes the fights tend to last a lot longer than they should. This was a mistake because it's easy to dodge in the arena and then I can just punish it with the jumping R2. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to capitalize on it. He just outspaced me. But then I patiently waited for that to land. And that to land. Then I knew he was going to stop trying nonsense, because I would just stay away from him. He comes with a running R2. I tried to time my R2 differently, so I managed to connect it, and then another just simple R2, and then I managed to finish him off with a running R2. Now this again is going to be a quick one. Just buff with the Exalted Flash. I allow my opponents to buff, so that's what he's doing. He actually is using the Dane's footwear as well, which is fun. But I think mine does a little bit more damage because I have the bird talons and he doesn't. GG. Now, again, another fight. This guy is gonna go Swift Slash on me, which is funny. Maybe he hasn't realized that has been kind of patched now. It's not as broken as it used to be. So I'm gonna go with the running R2, try to get the dry leaf to combo, and then, surprise, surprise, he buffs himself with the backhands for the Swift Slash spam, but he doesn't have a chance. I'm already on top of him. Recovery is now nerfed to shit, so it's an easy way to counter now. This one is going to be a quick one as well, just Exalted Flesh. When I see a naked guy in the arena, I always think either I die quite quickly or they die quite quickly. In this case, lucky for me, it was me who took the win. Running R2, Dry Leaf, Whirlwind, and it's a GG. Easy. Now this one is actually an interesting fight because this guy's got quite a lot of armor with the Crucible Knight set. He also has got the shield, so he can always block my attacks. He comes straight to my face. I thought, okay, in that case I'll get you with the rot. Didn't manage to connect, but then the running R2 connected perfectly to a Dry Leaf Whirlwind that actually staggered him. But I just had to dodge roll his attack and finish him off with the R2. Now this guy, I fought him many times before. I feel quite a delay when I fight this guy, but I think he made the mistake of trying to parry me. I don't even know if the Dry Leaf Whirlpool can be parried. I don't think it can, but he tried to parry it here, as you are about to see. He's quickly swapped to the shield to try to parry me, but I don't think you can parry that, bro. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, a very quick fight is about to happen. Exalted Flesh. This guy comes full range on me. I just go with a running R2, Dry Leaf for a second Dry Leaf, and then the R2 for the finish. GG. Another good example of how this build now works is this guy. He's just gonna come with a shield, which normally is a bit of a pain in the ass, but because of the poise damage that we got now, it's just a mash of Dry Leaf Whirlwinds to the face that just melts this guy completely. Now this is actually another very good fight. This guy's a friend of mine. He manages to last quite a long time. Initially I did a tremendous amount of damage, but he was using the Great Katana, and then he just swapped his style to try to prevent me from stunning him like I had just done. Again, trying to outspace each other, trying to bait each other. As you can see, the moment I jumped, he tried to punish me with the little axe, which I don't blame him. Is a good idea to try to fight against the footwork. But again, all I had to do was time my attacks right, and I managed to get the win. As in, like here, I waited for the right moment to combo, and then I just finish him off with the rolling R2. But this is it, guys. This is going to be the last example. This was actually a good fight because I'm fighting someone using dual Milady, which is now the true new meta, as far as I believe. And I'll let you watch this one. Again, I do ask that you do consider subscribing if you're new to the channel. To my regular viewers, I truly appreciate your continuous support. I hope I'll see you in the next build video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day. Take care. Cheerio!